You're not lazy. Your brain thinks finishing things is dangerous. And every time you procrastinate, avoid, or give up halfway through, you're not failing. You're activating a protection mechanism that probably saved you once. That pattern where you can't start the project even though the deadline's approaching. Where you scroll for hours instead of doing the thing you said you'd do. Where you feel paralyzed by tasks that should be simple. That's not laziness. That's your nervous system in freeze mode. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why your brain confuses completion with danger, how past experiences created this pattern, and what's actually happening in your body when you can't make yourself do the thing. Because once you understand the mechanism, you stop hating yourself for it, and that's when change becomes possible. Most people who struggle with chronic procrastination have been told their entire lives that they're lazy, that they lack discipline, that they just need to try harder, want it more, care about their future. But you've tried that. You've used every productivity app, read every book about motivation, made countless plans to change. And still, when it's time to actually do the thing, your body just won't. Your brain fogs up. You feel this weird heaviness, and you find yourself doing literally anything else. The shame around this is crushing, because you can see other people just doing things, starting, finishing, moving forward, and you can't figure out what's wrong with you that makes something so basic feel impossible. You're not lazy, and you're not broken. Your nervous system learned something specific about completion, visibility, or success, and it's been protecting you from that ever since. So what's actually happening? Your brain learned an equation early on. Maybe you got punished for success. Maybe finishing things meant disappointing someone else. Maybe doing well made you visible in ways that felt dangerous. Maybe achievement meant abandonment. The specifics don't matter as much as the pattern. Somewhere along the way, your brain connected completion with pain, finishing with exposure, success with loss. And so now as an adult, when you're supposed to complete something, finish the project, send the email, have the difficult conversation, your nervous system reads it as threat, not a conscious thought, a physiological response. Your body activates the same protective mechanisms it would if you were facing actual danger. This is why logic doesn't work. You can tell yourself the deadline matters, that the consequences are real, that you need to just do it. But your nervous system isn't listening to logic. It's responding to a threat it thinks is present right now. Your brain can't tell the difference between the original danger and the current task. It just knows completion led to pain before, so completion must equal pain now. And like any good threat detection system, it tries to prevent you from walking into danger. So you freeze, you avoid, you procrastinate. Not because you're lazy, because your body thinks it's keeping you safe. But there's another layer to this that most people miss. Procrastination isn't just about fear, it's about control. When you don't finish, when you don't try your hardest, when you give yourself an out, you protect yourself from finding out what happens when you actually do give it everything. What if you finish and it's still not good enough? What if you complete it and people judge you anyway? What if you succeed and then can't maintain it? What if you fail despite trying your absolute hardest? These questions are terrifying, and procrastination protects you from having to answer them. There's a weird comfort in not knowing, in being able to say, I could have done better if I'd tried harder, in keeping your potential theoretical instead of tested. This is why procrastination gets worse on things that actually matter, on projects that could change your life, on opportunities that could define you. The higher the stakes, the more your brain wants to protect you from the vulnerability of genuine effort. If you never really try, you never really fail. Your worth stays hypothetical, safe, unproven but also undisproven. This is the hidden function of laziness. It's not about lack of motivation, it's about protecting your sense of self from the possibility of discovering you're not enough. And then there's what happens to your body when this pattern activates. You feel it physically, that heaviness, that brain fog, the way your body just refuses to move forward even though you're screaming at yourself internally to just start. This is freeze response, one of your nervous system's primary threat reactions: fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Freeze happens when your nervous system perceives threat but believes neither fighting nor running will work. So it immobilizes you, shuts down your executive function, makes your body feel heavy and slow. You're not choosing to feel this way. Your autonomic nervous system has taken over, and it's doing exactly what it evolved to do: keep you still when movement feels dangerous. This is why willpower doesn't work. why productivity systems fail, why telling yourself to just do it feels impossible. You're trying to override a survival response with conscious thought. And survival responses don't care about your plans or your logic. Your body thinks you're in danger. And until you address that, no amount of motivation or discipline will consistently override the freeze response. So what does this actually mean? It means procrastination is a symptom, not the problem. The problem is your nervous system's threat detection is calibrated wrong. It's still running on old programming from a time when completion, visibility, or success genuinely was dangerous. Your body hasn't updated its software. It's still protecting you from threats that no longer exist, but your conscious mind doesn't know this. So you interpret the freeze response as personal failure, as laziness, as proof that something's fundamentally wrong with you. And that shame makes everything worse, because now you're not just dealing with the freeze response, you're dealing with the story you tell yourself about what it means. And that story usually involves character defects, lack of willpower, and being fundamentally broken. None of that is true. You're not lazy, you're frozen. There's a massive difference. Lazy implies not caring. Frozen means your nervous system cares so much it's trying to protect you by shutting you down. Lazy is a judgment. Frozen is a physiological state. Once you recognize this, everything changes. Not because the pattern disappears, but because you stop making it mean something about your worth. When you can't start the project, instead of thinking, I'm so lazy, you can recognize, oh, my nervous system thinks completion is dangerous. There's that protection mechanism again. That shift alone reduces the pattern's intensity by about half, because you're not adding shame on top of freeze. You're working with your nervous system instead of fighting against it. Change doesn't happen through forcing. It happens through recognition, through building new associations, through teaching your nervous system that completion can be safe now. This takes time. The pattern didn't develop overnight. It won't disappear because you understand it, but understanding is the first step. Because you can't change what you can't see. Start small. Notice when the freeze happens. What task triggered it? What does your body feel like? What old association might be activating? You're not trying to fix yourself. You're trying to update outdated programming. To teach your nervous system that what was dangerous then might be safe now. This isn't about becoming productive. It's about freeing yourself from a protection mechanism that's become a prison, about reclaiming your ability to complete things without your body treating it like a threat. You're not lazy. You never were. You're carrying old programming that once kept you safe. And programming can be updated. If this landed for you, drop a comment about when your freeze response shows up most. What tasks make your body shut down? Sometimes naming the pattern is the first step to changing it.